Hi, and welcome to the Avid After School Sessions. I'm here at the Den Recorders, and this week I had a lot of really great questions referring to audio. So I figured what better way to answer those questions than to bring in my business partner, Darian Kogel, who's an amazing mix engineer and producer. So, Darian, let me ask you a couple of questions. This one comes from Timothy James, and he asks, when compressing audio and compressing vocals, what levels of ratio, attack, and release should I consider to keep my vocals up in the mix?
Okay, cool. I remember looking at some of these before. So I think the first thing to consider there with compression and vocals is your environment. And is this a TV thing? Is this a music thing? Because if you're going to compress vocals that were recorded on a boom mic, right?
Right.
In an arena kind of thing, or a big empty warehouse or something like that, when you start compressing them too much, all your noise floor is going to come up too. Camera noise, people scuffing their feet, all that stuff. So that can get nasty pretty quick. So as far as specifics, I mean, I can give you a ballpark. How about 4 to 1, and no more than about 6 dB of gain reduction on it, and
Okay.
maybe start with a fast attack and maybe a medium release, and kind of back the attack off a little bit, and see if that doesn't smooth out the vocals a little bit. Now for music though, it's going to be all over the place. You're in a controlled environment, right?
Absolutely.
You can nail stuff, and I'll nail stuff. Sometimes 20 dB at 8 to 1, and really smash it. But I'm going for that. I want the character, the compressor, and the preamp and the mic all to be working together and stuff like that. So,
Gotcha. And with anything, it's just like finding that little area there and then playing with it
sure.
until it sounds good and until it feels right to you.
I hope that gives them a starting place at least.
At least there's a starting place
All
for
right,
that.
cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
Cool.
Okay, so now, what suggestions do you have for anyone who is just beginning to learn to record and edit music using Pro Tools, and what resources are out there? And this comes from Miguel Rios.
Miguel, first of all, you made the right choice with Pro Tools. It's in every studio in the world, right?
Absolutely.
So, that's a good start. There are a lot of resources out there. Avid's done a great job of revamping their educational stuff, and I think they're continuing to do that. But the Pro Tools 101 books, things like that, and the 100 and the 101, they're great. And I had a teacher growing up that not growing up, well, when I started doing the recording thing,
Sure.
right? And he used to say RTFM, and that was read the frickin' manual. So I really suggest that you guys do that. It's important. And let's see, also on the internet, bless the internet, Dave Pensato's place, Into the Lair. It's awesome. And there's 94 episodes or something like that
Oh, that's
now.
great.
And he goes into so much detail it'll blow your mind. And he's got great guests on there that really dig into Pro Tools and some in the box stuff that you can learn.
Okay.
So,
And what about any schools? Are there any local schools that you could?
yeah, locally here in SoCal, Citrus College is a great one. Musicians Institute, Expression Center New Media in
Right.
San Francisco. I would stick with core schools like that. Maybe not avoid the ones in the back of the magazine with the tiny little ad,
Right.
and the reel to reel picture of the tape thing. That's it. Anyway,
Those are great.
like the old Pro Tools icon.
Right.
Remember that, the little yellow and black tape reel.
Stay away from those.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Let's see what we have here. How do you use the playlist on Pro Tools, and what are the advantages versus cutting more tracks?
Who asked this one?
This is from Stephen Cohen.
Oh, Steven. Okay, cool. Playlist is about speed for me, and Josh and I both, on the Avid side and on the Pro Tools side, we pride ourselves on our quick keys and speed and stuff and how we do stuff. And playlists lend themselves to that for me. The other thing too is your processing power and your organization, things like that. So
Okay.
if you've got a vocal track, since we're talking about vocals a lot, if you've got a vocal track and you've got an EQ on there and you put some effects on there, and maybe you don't have it on a bus, maybe you just put a delay or a reverb on that channel, right? And you want to loop record, and you're recording, and you take 20 passes and you do them into playlists. Well, you're using that same channel.
Right.
You're not making new channels on this stuff, so you're keeping your DSP down. Everything's
Okay.
going to run through there, and then you can open up your playlist view and you can snap stuff up to your master playlist real easy. It's quick. It's faster.
Gotcha. That's great. And let's see. Last question here. I wonder which plugins would you recommend for a pre-master before taking my music to the mastering guy? And this comes from Conrado Figueroa.
Conrado.
Conrado.
All right, I hope I got that right. I think you're talking about stuff on the 2 bus and compression and processing like that before you're going to send it to a mastering engineer. A mastering engineer's job is to polish, right? And it is to make stuff sound commercially viable and ready. It's the last stage. So I think it's okay to use look ahead limiters and compressors heavy in the final listening stages of your mix, just to hear what it's going to sound like. Because you've got a lot of dynamic range in there, and you want to smash it up, make it nice and loud, so you can go out and take it in your car and listen to it. It's cool
Sure,
for a
sure.
reference, right?
Right.
But as far as leaving that stuff on, well, here's a good example I just thought of. So you've got your drum tracks, right? And in the mix, you've got these bright cymbals, and everything is real smooth and sitting good together. And then you may not have an idea what it's going to sound like once it comes back from mastering. So go ahead and throw an L2 on there or something like that,
Okay.
and nail it. But then all of a sudden your cymbals are shrill, they're harsh, and you wouldn't have noticed that without checking it like that. So,
Gotcha.
but take that stuff off when you give it to the mastering engineer. You know,
And when you take it to the mastering engineer, what's the best way to deliver them a session or a file so that way they can do the best of their ability?
a lot of the mastering engineers, Bernie Grumman, for example, they will give you specs.
Okay.
Right? They'll tell you how they want things delivered, and give it to them exactly like that.
Gotcha.
You know, give it to them. They may want split files. They may want most likely it's going to be a high bit rate wave, right?
Gotcha.
And that's what they'll want, and they'll probably tell you, leave me at least 6 dB of headroom on the thing. If you've got it slammed up at 0, take that stuff off.
Okay.
Because it gives them room to play with. If there's nothing in there for them to do, there's nothing in there for them to do, and you're wasting your money and their time.
Right.
So,
Well,
hope that
excellent.
helps.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, and thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. You can, if you have more questions for Darian, you can find him on Twitter at Darian Cogill. If you have questions for me, you can find me at Atrium Music Josh, and if you have questions for the studio, you can find us at the Den Recorders. So, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you soon.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.